Friends, welcome to my Finding Lost Civilization series. Today we're filming part 2 of 2 parts called the Rumsen Indians of Carmel Bay. I hope you've seen part 1, but part 2 will be exciting because in this segment we're going to take information that an ancient Rumsen had provided about a landmark in this bay describing where his village was located. I believe I found that landmark and I'm going to show it to you. Let me know what you think. Well, before us we have the Carmel Point area, and right here along this, I guess, sand dune face is the Carmel River and the Carmel River Lagoon. This whole area is a midden site, a shell midden site, because the ancients, the Rumsens who lived in this area, lived here thousands of years. I'm going to show you an interesting facet of a shell midden over here. Look at this. This is very, I guess, exciting. It's somewhat historic in a sense from an archaeological perspective. Those two little areas that we're looking at are mussels. And you can see that there's dozens of them all heaped on each other. So at this very spot that we're looking at, an ancient Rumsen, maybe 200, 300, 500, or even 1,000 years ago, sat at that very spot with a pile of mussels that he opened up, or she opened up, yes, and then discarded the remains right before our very eyes. Normally, okay, they wash down here onto the beach and you can see the remnants laying about. But to find them in the exact same configuration that they were left at hundreds of years ago is really a sight that you don't often see. Well, before us lies the Carmel River Lagoon. This lagoon has sustained the ancients for thousands of years and is home to migratory birds from Canada and the northern parts of the United States. It is a vast, rich, resourceful area. The lagoon right now is actually higher than the Pacific Ocean, and the only thing separating this lagoon from its neighbor is the sandbar. In several days, the winter rains will come, and eventually they will overcome the sandbar. And finally, the lagoon and the Carmel River will meet the majestic Pacific, and the cycle of life will continue. Well, mankind has aided the Carmel River Lagoon. This channel was cut through with several bulldozers, and now the Carmel River, the Carmel Lagoon, is flowing into the ocean, into the Pacific, via a southward axis. Well, friends, behind me you can see a cross. And this cross is on a hill overlooking the Carmel Bay, and it commands a majestic view. Now, this cross was originally erected in 1869 by the Casper Portola expedition to this area. It was erected as a signal to a supply ship that actually never arrived because it sank at sea. In a note left by the cross, the Spanish expedition stated that they were suffering great deprivations. In other words, they were hungry and starving. Can you imagine being hungry or starving in a Carmel Bay area, a place where food abounded, a place that had sustained the natives here for thousands of years? Well, I believe that one of the problems was that the Spaniards had lost connections to earth, to living off the land. Well, friends, every day is a day of discovery here at the Carmel Bay area. I'm just south of the Carmel River Lagoon, and it's close to sunset. And as I was walking along this area, I recalled an old record from the 1800s where an ethnologist had interviewed a Rumsen Indian. And a Rumsen Indian told this ethnologist that his village used to be located near a set of boulders that looked like an old man looking out to the sea. And as I was walking along the beach here, just by chance, I looked up to a series of boulders located in an area along the beach which is now called Carmel Meadows. Let me show you what I found. Let me show you the old man looking out to the sea. I'll tell you, this was wonderful. To me, the image that we just saw looked like a man sitting down looking out to the sea. And depending on where you're standing, you can actually see a head. And this head looks like an old man staring out to the sea. What I did after I saw this vision, this boulder that looked like an old man sitting down staring out to the sea, I went below that area and I found ancient grinding bowls which reflect that life at one time existed at this exact same spot where the ancient Rumsen Indian said his village used to be, which was where the old man sat and looked out to the sea. Well, this is the spot where the old man looking out to the sea is. We're looking at him. And what I did is I went down to the beach area. And to the right, what you're going to see is a series of rocks along the beach right there below us. But then to the far right, you'll see this outcrop of rocks. And right there on this outcropping of boulders, okay, there are about 6 grinding bowl areas. And this outcrop of boulders is located to what I would say is the left hand of the man sitting out, looking out to the ocean. Friends, directly behind me is the outcrop of rocks where I found the symbol of the old man looking out to the sea. And this area that I'm standing at right now, we actually visited in part 1. So let me show you this outcrop of rocks over here. If you can remember, this area right here is a shell midden site, and right over here is a grinding bowl area, right over here. And again, the outcrop of rocks where the symbol of the old man looking out to the sea is located there. Well, directly in this area, we know that ancient life existed. This is a shell midden area. But as I was looking at this area, I took a second look at this rock that I'd noticed many times before, but then again, I guess I really didn't notice. I thought to myself that this would be a great shelter. But then as I came closer, I realized that it was a little too small for a rain shelter. But I looked down at the ground and I saw many fragments of the sea life that was processed by the ancients. And then I took a look at the ceiling and I realized, my goodness, this was a cooking spot. At this very location here on this ground, the sea life that was gathered was cooked here. These marks over here are from fires. Food was processed here. These are scorch marks from flames. I tell you, this is really exciting. I can see many remnants of the shells that were broken open and used for a food source. And I can also see small bones. As I said, all manner of life was used to sustain the ancients that lived in this area. You know, some people might say, well, what is so exciting about finding scorch marks under a boulder? Well, the thing that I find fascinating is that for many years I walked this area, and I really was oblivious to any signs of ancient life. But once I started noticing that this area was inhabited by people thousands of years ago, many of the things that I simply passed by revealed themselves to me as something significant. And this happens to many of us in our lives. We're so busy and consumed with the present, we really don't stop to smell the roses or to really examine what is around us. And that's what I find so fascinating, that in all the years I never noticed something that was laying right here at my feet. Yes, this journey is certainly a revelation to me, and I hope that I'm passing on, or I hope that we can learn something from all of this. Well, friends, our time here in Carmel Bay is coming to an end. And this is a wonderful, it's a beautiful place. So when you come down here and take a stroll, don't only think of its beauty, remember that there is much history to this region, to this area. This was once the home of the Rumsen Indians, who were the original inhabitants of the Monterey Peninsula area. Before we leave here, I'd like to say that the Carmel Bay area is primarily a California state park, so the lands here are protected. Our time over here has been about information. A journey into our past was about learning. It's not a hunt for artifacts, and in fact those type of activities are prohibited over here. So please don't do that if you ever come here. Let's enjoy our journey as a quest for knowledge.